Yeah, Sandra, good to be with you for another hour. Caroline Leavitt went on to say that cashless bail is a, quote, failed experiment. And we all heard it. She took the media to task, essentially saying they refused to cover the story because it didn't fit their, quote, preferred narrative, and said the media had a whole lot of ink to spill when it came to Daniel Penny and his arrest on that New York City subway. So she felt this case was not in the national spotlight enough. But Sandra, now I understand we're hearing from the president himself with some new reaction to all of this.
She often, during her remarks, pointed to this new statement from President Trump. He posted it to his X account. It's in chunks. It airs in total 2 minutes and 18 seconds. We're going to play it out in its entirety. Listen.
For far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people, really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead. She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. 24 of the top 25 most dangerous cities in America are run by Democrat mayors. 50 people were murdered in Chicago in recent weeks, with hundreds being shot. And it's time to stop this madness. The people of our country need to insist on protection, safety, law, and order. We have proven that it can be done because we did it right here in D.C., in District of Columbia. The capital of America was a bloodthirsty, horrible, dangerous place, one of the worst. And now it's a crime-free city, and we're going to keep it that way. It can be done. It can happen fast. All we want is, please, Mr. President, we need help. Chicago needs help. Other cities need help. We'll do what has to be done because we're going to make America safe again, and that includes our big cities. We're going to make those cities safe. Thank you.
Hey, Sean.
Shalom. Welcome to another video. And as always, before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachadash, and next double honors to the head apostles / elder bishops of the Great Millstone who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to all you sincere Akim. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless whether people hear or whether they forbear. So this is going to be a reaction to Trump's speech, going into what happened down in Charlotte, North Carolina, which I saw the video, I saw the full video, and when you watch it, it looks staged, all right? You saw the young Jake pull out his pocket knife, and then allegedly start to hack the young woman in the neck, but then you don't see any wounds on her neck on either side. She turns her head. So it looks staged, and I know that with movies that they have something called like blood packets, where they're able to smash it and it looks like blood will go everywhere. So it looked like it was fake to me. But anyways, regardless of whether it was or not, I wouldn't be surprised, because I know that Jake is wicked. We know that Jake is there are a lot of demons out here, man. But what Trump said in his speech, he said, we need to be as vicious as them. So what he's doing is Trump is using this, all right, as an alibi, an excuse to be able to come down hard on Jake, And we already know that this is what they're going to do. All right, we've been telling you this. They're trying to demonize Jake, trying to make it seem as though we are the problem. And that's always the blueprint But Esau, whenever he wants to target a specific group of people, okay, you're going to have slander campaigns, and pretty much they're going to be made to look like they are the problem. All right, and really, America is collapsing because of the greed of the people that run this country. All right, now Jake is wicked. Don't get me wrong. All right, but Jake is not the reason why this country is pretty much imploding upon itself. All right, but that's the narrative that they're going to paint, because really what it comes down to is we're coming into the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, and Esau is getting ready to come down having great wrath. He's just using this as an excuse. Okay, and we're going to see more of these things happen. So they can scapegoat Jake. They can lay all the blame, okay, on the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. When Trump was campaigning, he was talking about the illegals, how the so-called illegals, how they're graping, and all this kind of stuff. And it's just a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of lies, man. And really, you look at statistics, the crime rate is actually down in the past couple of years, more so than it has been in the decades, before us. All right, but this is what the prophecy says is going to happen, that the devil is going to come down having great wrath. Okay, so with that being said, that's the topic that we're going to dive into. Okay, how wretched I mean, Heavenly Father's will is edifying to the elect. All right, so I'm going to pick up, Revelation chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, "And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night." All right, and the end result of Jacob's trouble is going to be salvation for the elect, and the judgment on the wicked of our people. Okay, and Esau being taken down as well. All right, it's not going to go as he thinks it's going to go. Now, they are going to delete a lot of Israelites. Okay, thousands, I dare I say millions, because once again, it is really the Heavenly Father that's bringing the judgment. All right, but it is going to be great wrath upon Jacob. Okay, and the accuser of our brethren being Esau, right? The devil the Bible speaks of is going to be cast down. All right, which this is the part of him accusing. Okay, is him trying to pretty much say to the world, look how evil these so-called Negroes are. Okay, and these Hispanics, all right, out there doing this and doing that, raping people, okay, murdering people. All right, which, like I said, Jake is wicked. Don't get me wrong, but all right, that's not the reason for the collapse of this country. Okay, and you let's pull the numbers up. All right, Esau is the heavyweight champion of bloodshed throughout the four corners of the earth, man. Not just here in the Americas, but all over the world. Okay, so they always try to paint that narrative as if we're the violent ones. Okay, but we're not the ones who stole, a whole continent. I slaughtered off all the natural inhabitants for the most part. 90% of them, took a whole other people and enslaved them, all right, for hundreds of years, and killed millions of them as well. And they didn't just do this here on the Western Hemisphere. They did this all over the world. Okay, but they're not the violent ones. Anyways, let's continue on. Verse 11, "And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death." All right, and that's the elect. So the elect is going to overcome. But make no mistake. Verse 12, "Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them." Why would the heavens be rejoicing? Because this is the time where the elect is going to be delivered. But it says, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." And that's what we're seeing. That wrath is being built up. All right, and we're going to need divine deliverance from this, which is why Daniel 12:1 says, "Michael the archangel will stand up for the children of thy people." Okay, but not for everybody, for the remnant of Jacob. Okay, this is Psalms the 55th chapter. It says, "Prayer for the destruction of the treacherous." All right, it says, "Give ear to my prayer, O Yahweh, and hide not thyself from my supplication. Attend unto me and hear me. I mourn in my complaint and make a noise, because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. For they cast iniquity upon me, and in wrath they hate me." Okay, they cast iniquity upon me. They lay blame upon Jacob as if he is the worst thing out in the world. Okay, when they're just the ones destroying the people, okay, destroying the earth itself, all right, and making life difficult for everyone. Okay, because really America, it doesn't have to be the way that it is, but like I said, the greed of the people, okay, the greed of the ones that are running the society. All right, they're just using Jake as a scapegoat. Okay, it says, "My heart is sore pained within me, and the terrors of death are fallen upon me. Fearfulness and trembling are come upon me, and horror hath overwhelmed me." All right, I'm gonna skip down. It says, verse 9, "Destroy, O Yahweh, their tongues, for I have seen violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go about it upon the walls thereof, mischief also and sorrow in the midst of it." Okay, that's what's getting ready to happen, man. All right, much sorrow, okay, upon Jerusalem. Jerusalem, a people for its a place. Okay, talking about the Israelites. "Wickedness is in the midst thereof, deceit and guile depart not from her streets. For it was not an enemy that reproached me, that I could have borne it, neither was it he that hated me, that did magnify himself against me, then I would have hid myself from him." All right, it says, I'm going to skip down to verse 15. "Let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick to hell, for wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. As for me, I will call upon Yahweh, and Yahweh shall save me. Even evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. He hath delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me. Yahweh shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, Selah. Because they have no changes, therefore they fear not the Most High. He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him, and he hath broken his covenant." Okay, and that's talking about Esau. All right, Esau, like I said, Jake is pretty much a docile people for the most part, but he has continuously waged war against Jake, and they never stopped. But Jake is under a strong delusion to where they can't see it. "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war is in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." And you got a lot of Jakes that still, they think that, that this society is for them. Okay, and really, in a sense of, from a carnal perspective, all right, Trump is cleaning up crime in different cities. Like with DC, they said they ain't been a murder. He's been cleaning it up. Through his through implementing, sending out the dispatching the National Guard and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, these young Jakes are out of control. Don't get me wrong. A lot of them are completely gone, right? But all right, the thing is that he's using that as a guise, as a cover up for what the real plans of the elites are, which is to get at the elect. Okay, that's really what they want to do. They want to try to destroy Jake so that they can stop the prophecies from coming through. All right, and their kingdom from falling. Okay, so they're using that as a scapegoat, and that's the thing about it. And we always say that, niggas, all right, which are 2/3 reprobate Jakes. Okay, they're a creation of Esau. Okay, because he purposely set up the conditions, of poverty, which is statistically proven that no matter what group of people you put into poverty-stricken conditions, that crime is going to go up. Okay, purposely set up a system designed for Jake to fail, and then it's socially engineered, the culture. Okay, because there really is no so-called black culture. All right, these are things that have been created and pushed through the television, through media, which they have full control over. So Jake is a creation. It's like not Jake, but wicked Israelites. The YNs, you could call them, are a creation of Esau here in Babylon the Great. That's not our natural, customs. All right, but it says, continuing on, "Cast thy burden upon Yahweh, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved." It says, "But thou, O Yahweh, shall bring them down to the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee." Okay, so the Heavenly Father is going to get at them, all right, in due time, man. Okay, they think they're coming down on us. While they're hating on us, the Heavenly Father hating on them. All right. Excuse me. All right, let's get this. Psalms 37, 32, and 33. It says, "The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him. Yahweh will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him when he is judged." All right, so the Heavenly Father is going to bring deliverance unto the elect, okay? Because he's going to come down on all Israelites. That's what Jake right now is partying and BS, and they think it's all fun and games. Okay, this is not, what we're getting ready to come across is not natural. Okay, this is supernatural forces at work here. And really, like I said, it's a judgment of the Heavenly Father on the left-hand side. All right, but we're going to close it out with this. Psalms 140:4. It says, "Keep me, O Yahweh, from the hands of the wicked, and preserve me from the violent man, who have purposed to overthrow my goings. The proud have hid a snare for me, and they spread a net by the wayside. They have set gins for me, Selah, traps. I said unto Yahweh, Thou art my power. Hear the voice of my supplications, O Yahweh. Yahweh, the strength of my salvation, Thou hast covered my head in the day of battle." 'Cause that's what we're coming into, the day of battle. All right. And Jake still don't get it yet. "Grant not, O Yahweh, the desires of the wicked. Further not his wicked device, lest they exalt themselves, Selah." The desires of the wicked is to wipe Jake out completely. "As for the head of those that compass me about, let the mischief of their own lips cover them," all these lies that they're spreading. "Let burning coals fall upon us," is going to happen by way of nuclear missiles. "Let them be cast into the fire, into deep pits that they rise not up again." That's exactly what's going to happen. "Let not an evil speaker be established in the earth. Evil shall hunt the violent man to overthrow him. And I know that Yahweh will maintain the cause of the afflicted and the right of the poor. Surely the righteous shall give thanks unto thy name, and the upright shall dwell in thy presence." And that's the elect. So we're praying for deliverance, okay, from the wicked, and for the Lord to bring that great destruction that he promised of snares, fire, and brimstone upon Esau's head, okay, and to cover us from his lips, okay, because like I said, he's trying to demonize, a whole group of people, and not all of us are wicked. Okay, like I said, a good chunk are, okay, but Jake is not the problem in this society, the way he's trying to portray it. All right, and they're just looking for this moment to really excuse their violence that they already wanted to do against Jacob anyways. Ezekiel 35 talks about their perpetual hatred towards Jacob, okay, and the Heavenly Father, he's going to reward them with snares, fire, and brimstone, and he's going to deliver his elect. All right, so I'm going to end it there. Heavenly Father's will was edifying. As always, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachash. And until next time, Shalom, and abide b'bol.